Evening all. Sorry I'm a little bit delayed starting. Hi Love Terminator, nice to see you. Hi Simone, hope you're all well. Yeah, just literally setting up 3 systems, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Amiga. Well, the Amiga's always set up these days, but yeah, it's a lot to set up. Yeah, so we've got 3 platforms today. We've got the Amiga, we've got the Super Nintendo, and we've got the Mega Drive. Obviously the Super Nintendo known as the Super Famicom in Japan, and obviously the Mega Drive in North America known as the Genesis. So hopefully we'll have a smashing time tonight. So that was smooth, wasn't it? So hey there, Pixels of Dawn, hope you're well. So yeah, so I thought let's shake it up a bit for the game stream, just because obviously as far as games playing goes, I play not just on the Amiga but also with the SNES, the NES, the PlayStation, PS2, not so much the more modern systems, although I do want to get myself a Switch. So yeah, so it's all good. So yeah, so 3 systems tonight, 3 platforms. We've got Sonic. We've also got, if I can just about reach for it, there you go, Zool, and we also got Super Mario. I can't quite reach over, but basically, yeah, we're just going to go through each of the 3 platformers. I thought we'd start off with Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo to start with, and we'll just go from there really. So excuse me for doing my headphones, it's just because I've just been checking that the stream levels are okay, and so I'm having to sort of half listen to what's on the phone. And hey there, old poke, hope you're okay. So yeah, so yeah, I guess without further ado, I don't think any of these 3 games need a particular introduction, but yeah, so hopefully we're going to have a bit of fun this evening, and without further ado, let's get on with it. So I thought we'd start off with Super Mario World. Hey there, Mirko, I hope you're well. So let me just turn down this. Okay. There we go. Where's my Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I don't know, Hyperman Gaming. Where did you last leave it? So, hey there, Bishbot. I hope dinner's well. So, I hope you can hear the levels okay. I'm just going to switch my headphones over in a moment, so just to the game. So, what's the dinner tonight, Pishbot? So, don't make me too jealous, though. I've not eaten yet. I'm just checking that the levels are going to be okay for you, so... Oh, that sounds good to me, so... Hopefully you can hear me over the top fine, so... Right. Oopsie daisy. Okay, we're doing well, we're doing well. Right, let's just plug this into this box here. It's just you can't play these games without music, so... Okay, great, we're off and running, so... A 10-hour workday, that sounds... rather grueling to say at least, Pixels at dawn. So yeah, McDonald's can make you meal. I must say I don't go to McDonald's very often myself, maybe once or twice a year. Let's just start an empty game. So thanks for letting me know the levels are good, Lobster Terminator. I just don't want to end up with ear bleeding and all this kind of stuff, so cool. Okay, so I don't think okay, so Mirko asks, is this a real system or emulator? Okay, so all my systems are real. The Mega Drive is definitely real. The Amiga is very real. The Super Nintendo is actually a SNES classic, so so judge what you will out of that. So that's a little miniature one that they made. So yeah. So the reason I went for the SNES classic is that whilst I oops, I've already died. I'm talking and looking at the phone. Off to a flying start as always. Right. Okay, just going to concentrate, otherwise I could embarrass myself here, so this could all go horribly wrong otherwise. We'll just do that the safe way. Yeah, so basically it's, yeah, SNES Classic. It just means that, maybe I'll show you later on, but it means that I can put 3 systems in my desk drawer, which is really super compact. But yeah, it's I do have my Super Nintendo that I had back in the day, but it's still in the loft. I do aim to actually dig it out for these streams. It's, to be honest with you, because I've only started doing these live streams about, oh, where were we? 2-3 weeks ago, maybe it's a month now. I don't know. It's all of this is quite sort of new to me, as it were, so I'm just making sure that I can walk before I run, quite literally. You know, sort of setting up 3 systems, 3 sets of cabling, all the different settings with OBS and so forth. It's quite a tall order in a way. So I'm just making sure that I can manage all of this, because one of the things that I've definitely realised is that you know, sort of setting all this stuff up is a lot more involved than it actually looks when you're watching somebody else do it. So, particularly people are a lot more professional than me. So, yeah. So, but I do hope to dig my SNES out of the loft in the next week or so. So maybe next week if we do some more Super Nintendo, I really want to do some Pocky and Rocky. We will dig that out. But the good thing with the SNES Classic is you do actually get to play with essentially the real controller. None of this having to use your cursor keypad or any of that stuff. So that dinner sounds that dinner sounds delicious, Pishbot. Not at all jealous. So sardines, potatoes, some teeny tomatoes, and lots of garlic and ginger. You cannot have too much garlic or ginger. At least that's what I say. Now, to be honest, I'm not the best Super Mario World player that you're ever going to see. There are a lot better players at this game than me, but it doesn't take away the fact that I really enjoy it. And like most people, this was the game that I got packed in with my Super Nintendo back in the day. So I think it was the, I don't know what's happened to it, because I certainly don't have it anymore, but I think I had the All-Stars packing game, so yeah, it's, I'm afraid I'm not the best player at it, but I certainly enjoy it, so. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Ah! Come on, Vicky, you can do better than this. Okay, yeah, it is a good picture. I'm quite surprised myself how well the Magewell capture device is doing. Those of you who joined me for the first stream will remember all the troubles that we had with that. Now, whilst I'm somebody who enjoys, you know, sort of technical, oh jeez, I forgot about that, stuff to a degree, you know, like I enjoy hearing about sort of what powers these consoles, how they pull off their tricks, how these computers work, you know, what they're made of, the stories behind their creations, which I find absolutely fascinating. I'm not really a hardware tinkerer. In fact, I have almost zero patience for hardware tinkering. It's just something that I'm just not particularly into, but you know, it doesn't mean that I obviously don't see the value in it. Of course I do. So you're not going to find me tinkering to the nth degree to get things to work. So what I love about the Mage Well is the fact that I plugged it in and it worked. So it's, you know, that's my kind of plug and play, to be honest with you. Pishbot says that he remembers playing Super Mario World for the first time with friends. It's really beautiful. It is a beautiful game, definitely. I don't think it gets enough kudos for that. Actually, I've always loved the Nintendo aesthetic. I know it can be a bit divisive, but for me, this is just a really beautiful game. But also, it's for me, I think it's a beautifully designed game. I feel that Miyamoto sort of, for me, I definitely do feel that he comes into sort of like a game design genius. I have a lot of time for his production, shall we say. And, you know, I know that some people obviously aren't Mario fans, and that's fair enough. You know, I understand that everybody has to. But back to what Pishbot says, I remember the first time playing this as well, and I don't know what year it was, but I'm going to have to say it's probably around about 1993. Because my cousins, on my mum's side, because I don't actually have any cousins on my, let's do a better job at this. Oh, whoops, that was terrible. But yeah, I remember playing this with my cousins, and previously they were the ones that got me into thinking I'm going to get an Amiga. But not to put too much of a point on it, they were just a lot better off than we were. So if you wanted the sort of the latest consoles and all that kind of stuff, or the latest computers, you could guarantee that my my cousins, they would have had it, and that's exactly the case here. They had the Amiga 500, they had the Super Nintendo, they eventually had the PlayStation. You know, it basically all three of those systems. You know, I was introduced to them through my cousins, and you know, so it's them in many ways I have to blame. And in fact, actually, whilst I'm not certain, I just don't remember, you know, like the whole thing of me getting a Commodore 64 was a complete bafflement to me, because as far as I remember, I don't remember showing any real interest in computers or computer games before I got it. And suddenly one day I came home and I had this Commodore 64 in the bed. But my cousins, they also had a Commodore 64. Now, I do remember playing it, but I don't remember being like so infused with it that I felt that I had to you know, get one myself, as it were. So maybe my parents saw us playing on it and just thought, well, maybe we should get her one of those. I don't honestly know, but basically it was my cousins that sort of introduced me to the Super Nintendo, and of course we just played for hours on oh crap, that was terrible. Oh well, it's good comedy, isn't it? So but basically we would play for hours on this game, and oh my god, Vicky, I'm really sorry. There's been this tweet going around on Twitter, which I must say I've not responded to, because you can never tell whether these things are real or not. And to be honest with you, it's not worth putting your energy into these things that, you know, get your senses up, as it were. But somebody's saying that you can't call yourself a real gamer unless you put 300 hours into something. And I've played enough JRPGs to have put 300 hours into something, don't you worry. But seriously, I think I just validated whatever that guy was on about. I can't call myself a real gamer with gameplay like that, can I? But anyway, so yes, it was my cousins that got me into the Super Nintendo. But of course, you know, the Super Nintendo didn't come out till quite late in Europe. I don't think we actually got it until quite late in 1992, which is a year or so after Japan got it, and at least a year. Oh my god, here we go. It's been quite a while since I've played this as well, to be fair. But yeah, so you know, we got this kind of late, I think. Actually, oops, wrong button. Yeah, it was really cool to finally play on a Super Nintendo. I'd played on a Nintendo Entertainment System, a NES, before the Super Nintendo, because bizarrely enough, one of my school friends, they had a NES, so I was au fait with you know, sort of Mario and so forth from that. I think probably Super Mario World 3. That's the most likely, to be fair. But yeah, it's just one of those classic games. Let's have a little look at the chat. So we're not on the Amiga at the moment, actually, Error 42. It's yeah, this isn't that well-known platformer on the Amiga called Super Mario World. If only it were, eh? But yeah, I absolutely adore this game. It's I'm not very good at it, like I say, but that doesn't stop me enjoying it. And whilst you're witnessing some pretty amateur gameplay at times, I'm certainly oh, thank God for those. I'm certainly having fun whilst making a hash of it, so. Hey, I've never got one of the 2D Mario platforms because I'm utterly terrible at them. Yeah, to be honest with you, Pixels, I'm not great either, but I do enjoy them. If you want quite a good one, I recommend New Super Mario Brothers on the DS, just because it's actually quite easy, but it's also quite a nice update to the original sort of style of. Oh, we'll see if I can get that. I know I've got a rugby playing chap here, I think. Yeah, but I still enjoy playing Pixels. It's yeah, it's fun. Sometimes having limited access to multiple consoles meant you chose your own machine. I couldn't afford to sense my habits. You're so right, Pishbot. I think that sets me up for another one of my famous waffles, doesn't it? Not of the Belgian kind, so. Although I don't have a particularly sweet tooth, I'll be honest with you, but occasionally I do like a Belgian waffle. Okay, so I think this is one of those aquatic levels that I'm always traditionally rubbish at, but we'll give it a bash. I always didn't like underwater levels in platform games. Don't ask me why. Just don't like them that much. So yeah, I think you're right, Pishbot. One of the things that I think is can I say this? Yeah, I can say this. We live in a very materialistic age. We lived in a very materialistic age back then. I mean, there's not been really any magical difference between now and then. People are, but I think we unfortunately live in an age of great hypocrisy when it comes to recycling and so forth, and yet we and you know, and I'm as guilty as the next person at the time, will go on ASOS or Boohoo and you know, quite happily buy lots of cheap fashion, or we might go on Amazon and all this kind of stuff. And you know, I'm not saying that I'm some par exemplar. I don't want to make out that I'm some paragon of virtue. Oh no, don't drown. Paragon of virtue is the point, but you know, things are relatively speaking so cheap compared to back then. I mean, when you actually put in the prices that we paid for things into the inflation calculator, you know, it's actually quite interesting that difference. And you know, and I remember working for a year to save up to buy our second Amiga, which is an Amiga 500 Plus. Now, granted, I was only 12 at the time, delivering papers, but you know, so it took a lot of effort to actually obtain those systems. And I'm not saying that kids these days don't have the same, because I don't honestly know, so I can't really say. So I'm not one of these people who says, oh, send them out to work and all this kind of stuff, because, you know, I think I'm a bit more enlightened than that very, you know, oh, rubbish. I don't know, unenlightened view, shall we say? Because I work with quite a lot of young people at times, and I think actually in many respects, if only I was like they were, or they are, when I was their age, if that makes sense. You know, they're just so on it these days, these kids. They're clever. Just get this guy. I want to get this guy. Come on. I want to box your ears. Okay. No! That's going to get me. I'm just being silly. But yeah, I don't know whether I'm explaining this very well. But yeah, you know, the fact that we couldn't just go out and easily obtain these systems meant that we cherished what we had. And do you know what? After my Super Nintendo, I had from 1994 until 1998. Hey there, Doug. Hope you're well. Ooh. I'm going to have to just keep an eye on this section, because it's one of those sections where you get pushed along, and I don't want to get it wrong. Oh, gotta hang back on this one. It's funny how things that you knew from like 25 odd years ago stick with you. Oh man. Except for that, obviously. Let's just catch up the chat. So, underwater level sections are absolutely the worst. Oh, I'm so glad you agree, Pixel. Oh yeah, we're gonna go on to Sonic. Don't worry, we're gonna go on to Sonic, and at the end of this, I'm gonna say what I think is my favourite. Now, obviously, my opinion is not the official opinion of anybody. You can disagree. It'll be interesting to chat about it. By all means, throw down in the chat what your favourite was from back in the day. So, but I am a bit of a Mario fan. I'm really looking forward to getting the Switch and getting Super Mario Odyssey. That's how you do it, Vicky. Right, okay. For some reason, I can be totally horrible at boss fights as well. Except for Rainbow Islands. I'm not too bad at the boss fights tonight. Come on, get in the lava. Almost. Oh, rats. Need my shroom. I don't know what it is. I just spanner it up every time. Oh. Oh. Like that. Yeah, it is a total rip-off of Giana Sisters. I mean, basically somebody from Rainbow Arts needs to get on to Nintendo and tell them what for, I think, Doug. Do you know, it's crazy the prices that Giana Sisters goes for on eBay. I mean, there's like C64 versions that fetch like... Oh, I've just lost my headphones. Bear with. What it is that I have really good headphones, but they're they've got quite a short cable on them. I have good headphones, not to show off, but because I listen to a lot of music and I also care about my neighbours. Right, come on. Come on. I know there is a knack to this, which I don't obviously have. Yeah! Yeah, I get that anxiety as well about it, Pishbot, that sort of running out of air. Music from the, well, the Mega Drive. Haha, there it is. Thanks for joining us again this evening, guys. It's lovely to share the evening with you, so... Yeah. Now, Lobsterminator, what you say about music is a whole other topic of conversation which I could spend hours talking about. I'm a massive, massive music head. I have... Oops. This is going well, isn't it? Come on, come back, Yoshi. Adios. I have a very wide musical taste. Oh, that could be handy. I have a very wide musical taste, so I listen to everything from a bit of jazz, you know, a bit of alternative. I love my Indian alternative music. But I also love my dance music, you know, sort of my progressive trance, my acid house, my funky house, my deep house. It's, you know, music is a big passion of mine. You know, you're just as likely to hear me listening to Sarah McLachlan as you are to, well, I don't know. Oh, here we go. I always mess these up. Oh, hang on. Extra life. Chris Bowden. Oh, no, rats. Chris Bowden, who I was listening to the other day. And, yeah, all sorts, really. Or, who's the other guy I was listening to the other day? The Man With No Name, sort of real proper pumping acid trance from back in '94. Yeah, so I listen to all sorts of music, but I love Spotify, but I love it because I've already put the hours, years, months, days, rats, into building my musical taste. But to be fair, I've put that time into it because I love music. You know, one of the best things in life, I think, is turning the lights out, putting a CD on, or plugging your headphones into your phone, whatever it might be, putting a record on, and I really do need to start using the spinning jump because that would help me a bit here. Come back here. Alright, you come to me and I'll come to you. Like I say, I can be totally horrible at these games if I've not played them for a while. That's handy. So, you know, one of the best things in life is putting on a record, slapping on the headphones or turning up the volume and just laying on the carpet and, you know, just sitting there listening to a record all the way through and just really enjoying it. That's one of the best pleasures in life. And when I was younger, I would, you know, sort of, obviously this would be a school night for me probably. I would lay on the carpet or lay in bed with my headphones on and I'd stick on John Peel, who used to be on Radio 1 between 10 and midnight, wasn't it? And you'd hear all sorts of, you know, you have ska 1 minute, and then you'd have acid jazz or, you know, whatever it might be, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. You didn't always like everything, but you know, it was crazy because 1 minute you could be listening to some remix of Beyonce or something, and the next minute he's got, you know, some Satoshi Tommy progressive house remix, you know, sort of fresh out of, well, obviously Satoshi Tommy is Japanese, but, oh, can't die. But, yeah, you would be listening to, but, yeah, Satoshi, talking stuff without thinking. Don't ask me to sing. I love music, but I can't sing. But yeah, so you'd be listening to all sorts of wonderful random stuff. And it was great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But these days, like, obviously I have a day job like most of us do. And you know, we've got Spotify in there, and sure enough, yeah, I've created myself a little playlist, a little wee playlist to you know, play every now and then. But it is truly bizarre stuff on there. Oh no, this is not going well. I bet this is... Let's get this one. Yay! Whereas most days it's just like the bog standard 80s playlist. Or the bog standard UK top 50. I mean, I couldn't tell you what's in the charts these days. So yeah, it's... But I love music, and I do feel a bit sorry for youngsters who get these pre-made playlists, but you know, maybe that was always the case. You know, you always had your people who would go into our price or wherever, and you know they wouldn't seek out the weird and the wonderful. They would just buy whatever's in the top 40, you know. So it's no different. Right, I'm gonna complete this level, guys. I've got to do this because I'm playing this level really badly. I know I said that I'm bad at Mario, but I'm not usually this bad. I think the other thing is that I've been playing a lot of Rainbow Islands this week on the Amiga, which of course up for jumpers for goalposts and all that stuff. So it's good to hear that that's one of the areas you don't buy digitally pixels. I actually picked up another couple of mix albums, which have been meaning to buy for quite a long time. A Hernan Cataneo mix from Balance. It's basically Hernan Cataneo. I can never pronounce that properly. Hernan Cataneo presents Sud Beat, which is his record label, which is actually a really good sort of deep house, progressive house mix. It's not dance music as you might think of it as being sort of banging hard house or something that makes your ears bleed. I don't know why I keep on repeating this level because this isn't fun to watch. But yeah, and I also picked up at last a copy of Sarah McLachlan's, which is probably why I mentioned it actually a minute ago. What's her name in the LP? Do you know, I shouldn't start these conversations. I do this all the time. I just say stuff and I think, do you know, I haven't remembered what I'm going to say. I think it's age, isn't it? Ooh, that could be handy. Let's just complete this level. Let's get this out of the way. Handy dandy. Actually, let's just complete it badly. So, yeah. Yeah, I do understand the need to sort of, you know, trim down stuff-ish, but I'm not really a hoarder, but music is something I find very hard to let go, so... Yeah, I used to play MP3s on my Amigas, Doug. I remember when I first obtained an MP3, I don't know how I did it, magic I guess, I'm not entirely sure. It was just one of those things that kind of happened, really. Yeah, oh no, whoops. I magically obtained this MP3, and at the time I had no 3050, which was a Viper 5 in my Amiga 1200, and it could just about play an MP3 if you set, I think, the replay rate to 11 kilohertz, which is awful. But it could just about do it, but you couldn't do anything else at the time. No, you couldn't. Oh no, don't. Yeah, so but then I upgraded to an 04040, and within reason I could get a bit of work done whilst listening to an MP3 on that. But then I actually bought, eventually obtained rather, well obviously I bought it, but I got a Blizzard PPC, which whilst it had an 040 that was much slower than the 04040 that I had in the Amiga before that. It was an 040. Oh, I'm gonna die. But that could play it fine. You could do a bit of Wordsworth, or was it Wordworth? It wasn't the same as the author, was it? Or Final Calc, or whatever you would be doing on your Amiga. And listen to MP3s quite happily, multitasking away with that. But then, you know, not being funny, 160 megahertz PPC 603 should be able to do it. Really should get rid of that guy before I jump in this bit. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad, but when I did eventually buy a PC in, I think it was year 2000, that was one of the things that was like, actually this is better, because I could use like Microsoft Word or Photoshop without, you know, limiting what I could do. So, yeah, so it did have its benefits, it has to be said. Eventually getting that PC, but as much as my heart and soul wants to say that it didn't. Let me just pause. Hey Nikki, sorry. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, Pixels at Dawn has good memories of Cafe Del Mar. Do you know what? I've got the original on what's the name of it? IQ Records, wasn't it, with Sven Väth's record label, and it had a fantastic remix from Kid Krem, wasn't it? Was it Kid Krem? Something like that. And the original's really good as well. But the one that most people remember is the '98 remix from 3 and 1. But I've actually the best version for me of Cafe Del Mar from Energy 52 was the Narlin and Kane remix. That is perfection, absolute perfection to me. So yeah. Lob78 says that they have difficulties concentrating music when listening to the computer. I get the same thing. And also has a funny habit of where they record music from the computer to a cassette. I don't often listen to the cassette back, but I'm recording forced me to listen to the whole thing. Yeah, I know that feeling. So yeah, it's the things we used to do to obtain MP3s. I used to think that it would take me about an hour or so to get hold of an MP3 back in the day. Like I say, they just magically appeared through this mechanism, Nupster or something like that. I mean, obviously, I can't remember what you do here, but you do something, don't you? Maybe you jump up here and then... Oh, I think you've got to do something special that I don't currently have the ability to... Or maybe you threw the shell up that gap. Oh well, whatevs. So, yeah. So that was a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? So yeah, so let's just talk about the game a little bit, because otherwise it's just another one of Vicky's old rambles about old stuff. Super Mario World is, in my book, a brilliant game. I'm not very good at it, as you've probably noticed, but I sure as heck enjoy it. And I just feel that the graphics are just beautiful. They certainly stood out to me when I played it at my cousin's Super Nintendo. They must have got one not long after it came out. Oh, why am I fiddling about doing that? And, you know, it's just one of those iconic games. I might be wrong about this. Maybe not. But it's one of those iconic games, really, and I know that Mario has some people who aren't such big fans of it, and there was a big secret I've obviously missed here, isn't there? But yeah, it's iconic. It really is. So intrinsic to the Super Nintendo, I think. And you know, and this was a game that I had for a good 6 months before I was able to afford another game, because at the time I'd decided that I'd get a hold of another Amiga, and you know, games were like £50, you know, to buy a cartridge, and you know, that wasn't cheap for a 12-year-old, to be honest with you. You know, my paper rounds would pay about, if you got a good week with leaflets, you know, so you used to basically deliver free paper, and you used to have your basic wage, which was like, say you delivered 150, maybe 200 newspapers, you would get, £5 for 150 papers, say. But if you got leaflets as well, you could sort of increase your wages. So basically, you got free leaflets that week, or you know, of your round. You know, that could boost your wages up to like £8. So, you know, it had its moments. But, you know, it doesn't take a genius to work out that to buy the average Super Nintendo game or Mega Drive game would have taken me probably about 2 months, maybe 3 months, if there wasn't a good run of leaflets. So, yeah, we're going to go on to Sonic soon, don't worry, Nicky. And we're going to talk about which is my most favourite at the end. So yeah, it did take a while. So I played this game to death, and I'm going to let you into a secret here. Never completed it. Never completed it. I do actually want to complete it one day. And also on the Super Nintendo Classic, you've got the oh, I hate these guys. Go away. You've got the Super Mario World 2, which I've just dabbled in, but I've not actually started up yet, because I actually do want to complete this first, which I know sounds a bit silly, but I guess it goes back to that old feeling of, you know, not having too much of a good thing. I want to sort of enjoy every single game on this SNES Classic. Yeah, it's yeah, so it's kind of just being able to enjoy each game on its own merits, as if I've worked hard for it, which I have in a way. I mean, let's be honest, I still had to earn the money that I paid for this game, this little console. So, you know, I didn't just wake up one day and think, yeah, let's blow £80 on a. Oh, could do with one of these guys. Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh, that wasn't good enough. Okay, we'll just jump on a few of these guys. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so yeah, this is a beautiful game, one that I love. And let's see if we can get to the next castle. And then what we'll do is we're going to switch to our next system, and I'm going to get myself another drink. And we're going to talk about the merits of the next system. I don't want to spoil which one we're going on to next, but it's going to be a goodie. they're all good. Hey there, Phil. Hope you're doing well. So we're just on Super. Oh, actually, I could just jump to that castle and get on with it, but whatevs. So yeah, I love this game. Not very good at it. I recommend if you feel that you're not very good at the 2D platformers, do get, like I say, Super Mario. Sorry, not Super Mario. New Super Mario Brothers for the DS. It's cheap and it's really good. I do enjoy a little blast on it every now and then. It's a fun game. Unfortunately, I can't play much of the DS on the channel because obviously there's very little way of capturing it. I think there are some very expensive devices that allow you to do it. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not about to splash about £250 to do so. But needless to say that the DS remains one of my favourite mobile gaming platforms, purely because you can also play Game Boy Advance on it. And you've got that nice little TFT screen on it, which is much better than pretty much most of the Game Boy Advances. Although I do like the original Game Boy Advance with the new screens that people put into them. They look absolutely mint. So, or as the kids these days say, they look legit. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the stream, guys. Don't drop the glass. I shan't drop the glass, Doug. It's a new... Oh, jeez, what am I doing? Not really paying attention. Smooth moves there, Vix. Smooth moves. So, yeah, last week, if you weren't here, we had a smashing time because I somehow managed to drop the glass. I've actually tidied up my desk somewhat. Not that it was too messy, but it was... That's handy. But it could have done with a bit of a... Oh, I don't want to get stuck by that platform forcing me down. See, this is a good thing about Super Mario Brothers, and in fact Mario games in general. If you don't pay attention to the gameplay, it's very easy just to jump and run, and just, like, you can just breeze through the levels. You know, but with Super Mario or Mario Brothers in general, you just have this excellent sort of level design, which means that if I just immediately jumped on that enemy, I might have sort of bounced off of something else and then just ended up sort of careering into the abyss. So it's just beautifully designed. Yeah, so we had a smashing time last week because I somehow knocked a glass off my desk, which is very tidy, relatively speaking. Excuse the wonky cam, folks. That's my desk. It's quite neat. Generally speaking, there isn't a Mega Drive on the desk. It's just usually my Mac keyboard. Yeah. Don't worry, Phil. Again, as I was saying, there is no obligation to join the streams. There are no obligations to, you know, chat in the chat. You know, it's just nice to have you along. I hope you enjoy. So, obviously, enjoy the washing up as well, because that totally rocks. I did my washing up before I started the stream because I just didn't want to do it after I'd done this. So, after all, with my history of not looking after porcelain and so forth and glasses, I thought it was best that I did it before I've had a couple of beers. So, hey there, Late Night Reviews. Hope you're well. Are you new here? Well, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoy. So, I'm going to be honest. I'm not the world's best games player, as you're probably about to witness. But actually, I tell a lie. I'm okay at games. I'm not the best. I'm not brilliant at some platformers. I'm not the best at Super Mario, but I do love it. So, if anything, you're going to get a good laugh out of this. We just finished up on Super Mario World, and we've just been chatting about some of our memories of the Super Nintendo and of Super Mario World, and just generally what it was like when we first played these games, how we first obtained our Super Nintendo to play this, or whatever it might have been. So, lots of fun chat. So I bought a Super Nintendo in 1994 when, unfortunately, the Amiga's fortunes were on the wane, and it remains one of my favourite gaming platforms of all time. It's one that I love immensely. So yes, enjoyed it. Oh, rats. Oh, you're pretty bad as well, late night reviews. Well, you're in good company with me, but the thing is what you'll find with me is that I'm very enthusiastic and I enjoy it. my main jam with games is JRPGs. I'm thinking of actually starting to do a live stream bit by bit of Chrono Trigger, which is just superb. Actually, I need to move this. I don't remember what you got to do here. Which is just superb. I love. Oh, actually, I could have gone up there. I could have gone and got the coins. I've got to get 96, so that's worth doing. I've got 96. I need to just get 4 more, so it's worth doing. Let's move that there. Oh no! Where are my coins? I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm in a tip. Sorry. So, yeah. Amateur alert. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Late Night Reviews. Nice of you to subscribe. Because, you know, I don't do YouTube for subs. I do YouTube because I love it. And, you know, if you love what I do or you enjoy what I do, then all the better, quite frankly. You know, it's... oh, I've done this badly. So thanks for following. It's very kind. So, Street Fighter 2 tournament, the school pixels. Now, I quite enjoy the pixel art of beat 'em ups. I do enjoy the beat 'em up. I enjoy Samurai Showdown, Last Blade 2. I enjoy Street Fighter to some extent, but I'm not really a beat 'em up fan. But I do enjoy them. And actually, this was another good reason to get the Super Nintendo, because unfortunately Street Fighter on the Amiga was rubbish. Not just because of the one-button joystick issue, but because US Gold and I don't know whether it was Teartex who ported it, but it was rubbish on the Amiga. I'm sorry if anybody liked Street Fighter 2 on the Amiga. I'm glad you enjoy it, but it was rubbish compared to what it was on the Super Nintendo. It you know, looking back on it, it was the game that actually converted a lot of Amiga users to buying a Super Nintendo, which is, as a real Amiga fangirl, is really sad because I love the Amiga. The Amiga is beautiful. But the Amiga was also a computer, and it wasn't just a games machine. Which I always remind people of, because it's easy just to say the Amiga got stomped on by the Mega Drive and the SNES, which it did in its later years, sadly, for a certain type of gameplay. But it was also a computer, which I still get a lot of fulfillment out of these days. So it was 10 when the SNES came out. So when the Super Famicom came out in 1990, I was only 7, so I'm younger than you. And when I bought my SNES, I was 11 years old. So it cost me £109, I think, from Argos, and it came with Super Mario All-Stars, which was awesome, and I played that game to death for about 6 months before I bought my next game, which was... What was my next game that I bought? I think it was Secret of Mana. No, it wasn't. It was Donkey Kong. I've done this wrong again, guys. Oh, facepalm. I get carried away. I bought Donkey Kong Country and Secret of Mana I bought in late 95. I remember buying it. You're 35? Oh, okay, so I'm 35 as well, so... Huh, okay, so the SNES came out certainly in Europe, I think in 92. It certainly came out in the UK, I think in late 92. I remember playing on my cousin's Super Nintendo in 93, which is what got me into the idea of I'm going to get one of these eventually. Oh, I can't get it. So you can do this. Come on. Okay, why am I finding this difficult? Yeah, so... Yeah, I make my videos completely full of fun as well, so... I would love Octopath Traveler on the Switch, Doug. I really would, so... Yeah, let me just catch up the chats. Your first Amiga was... Nintendo, sorry, was a Wii, Doug. And Error42 says, I remember seeing Scissors in Boots as a kid, but at that point I had no idea even what it was. I just remember that little robot from Spin Top. Little robot. Yeah, I remember that as well. Gosh, there's a blast from the past. Yeah. So what are the things I do on my channel? I do all sorts. Late night reviews. I do gaming. I'm doing more gaming now that I've got better equipment to do it. I do a lot of pixel art. My day job is actually web development. Not that I have any passion for web development, it's just something that I could do, and it pays my mortgage. But outside of that, I love drawing manga. I love animation. It's the Amiga that got me into that, into digital art and animation. And so I do a lot of retro pixel art. You can see some of my creations on Twitter, so you'll see my handle in the video frame. And but yes, I'm doing more gaming, and also I'm planning on doing other sort of retro systems like the Commodore 64. Yeah, so a bit of real mixture, but my main gaming platforms are the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo Entertainment System, that is, the Mega Drive, the Amiga, when I get my Commodore 64 fixed, the Commodore 64, and also the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. I'm hoping to pick up a PS3 shortly, and that will be my most modern system for gaming, and also a Switch, because the Switch is killing it as far as I'm concerned, for the kind of games that I love to play. So yeah, my streams and my videos are a bit of a mixture of all sorts. So yeah, you're not going to find me shouting or getting angry at the computer screen or the console screen. I'm not really that kind of gamer. I'm a bit too happy-go-lucky for that, so yeah. So if you want somebody who is more enthusiastic and shouty and sweary, I'm probably not your girl, but if you enjoy somebody with a bit more of a relaxed attitude to gaming, then I'm your girl, so yeah. Right, I'm not going to mess this up, so... Okay, I'm gonna have a look at your stuff, late night streams. It's really cool. So, yeah, we are just kids, Doug. Sorry, we don't mean to bring that up, but yeah, yeah. I turned 36 this year, so on the 1st of July. So I'm an 83 kid, so. I'm going to catch up in the chat in a minute, guys. I've not forgotten about you. So we're going to beat this castle and we're going to go on to our next system. I wonder what it will be. It's going to go up. I don't know why, but this... Oh. Bum. Ah! Oh, no! So... I'm going to catch up in the chat because I know that some of you have sent messages and I want to... Oh, I've got to go back to the beginning. That's just sad. Let's see if we can do this, Elsa. I'm glad you've learnt something new from my Dulux Paint stuff, Lobster Terminator. It's been... I'm really enjoying doing those. And I've got another stream this Sunday... I think it's at 6 PM UTC that I've set it for, so that's 7 o'clock here in the UK, and yeah. So let's just catch up in the chat. So Colin 316, thanks for joining us. It's really nice to see you. He says that he's 39 this July. So yesterday I'll be going on. We've got a Mega Drive later on. It all changed when the PS6 came out. I still love you. That sounds such a similar story to me, Colin. I had the 6-bit, so the Commodore 64 was my first computer. Don't know how I ended up with it, got it. The Amiga was my first love though, and then the SNES, and my friends had Mega Drives, and I got into it that way. So yeah, I do occasionally throw a glass across the room. Yeah, I do occasionally. I don't rage quit, do I? So last week I knocked a glass off the desk. Oops. So hey, Vamptamiga, hope you're well. Nice for you to join us. Thank you so much. I'm just making sure I've not missed anybody, so yeah. You're older than me. There you go. So I'll blow out the candles for you a little bit later then. So I was always a young kid at school, so that's the thing with those that are born in July and August. We were the little ones, the runts of the litter, so. But yeah, the Super Nintendo was a step-changing game for me, and playing on the Mega Drive, I really enjoyed that. And then a friend got a PC, but there was no way I could ever afford a PC back then, so, oops. So, yeah, it was much later on that I got a PC, but I never really used it for games because I had the PlayStation by then, so. But yeah, the PlayStation was my jam for gaming from about 98 onwards, so, and still is really, to be honest with you. It would be a hard task to say what is my favourite console, but yeah, actually let's just get this over and done with because I want to move on to the next system. You've lost a stream? Oh! I'm just going to switch my headphones over in a moment, so just to the game. So. Let me just double check everything's okay, Doug. Still showing that everything's working here. Yeah, maybe just try refreshing the stream just to make sure, so. If you guys get any problems, do let me know and I'll look into it, so. Yeah, so, no drops there, says error 42 and working fluffy. Just try refreshing your stream there, Doug, just to make sure, so I'd hate for you guys to miss out anything, so. Five for you as well, Pixels. Thanks for letting us know. So maybe there was just a little dropout with a particular ISP or something like that. These things happen. Oh, let's not blow it, Vicky. Just oh, rats. Oh no. I just want to beat the last boss and then we'll move on to our next system because we've been playing this one for a while. You're driving across town, jeez. You've got it on in the background, so there you go. That's dedication there, so. I was listening to your Amiga Vision Part 2 tutorial, which was really good, Doug, on Monday morning, was it? Really interesting stuff. Really good to see somebody who knows their onions about Amiga Vision. Unfortunately, my knowledge with it is really rusty, so I've got it installed on my Amiga 600, and I need to put it on the 1200 as well. So yeah, we'll make this our last attempt at Super Mario World, and we'll move on to our next system. So column 316, only memories were of the Atari 2600, Specky and the C64. Yes, the C64 and Specky were my earliest memory. Well, apart from the BBC Micro at school, those are my earliest computer memories or gaming memories. So yeah, I really want to get a Spectrum at some point, because whilst I never had one when I was little. It was one of those systems that was really iconic, but I'm quite surprised at how expensive they'd become. So, because let's be honest, thousands and millions of them were sold. So either a lot of them have been dumped, sadly, or they really are going up in value. So yes, the graphics in this game are brilliant. They really are. The gameplay is superb. The soundtrack is brilliant. And that's one of the things that I can't emphasise enough about the Super Nintendo's music. It was very similar to the Amiga because it was all sampled. So you've got 8 channels, unlike the Amiga's 4. But I think it's 14 kilohertz sampling rate compared to the Amiga's. I don't know, maybe I'm talking at my bottom there, but basically you've got 8 channels of audio, whereas the Amiga's got 4. So the sound that you get out of a Super Nintendo is going to be much more similar to a Amiga than it is the Mega Drive, which is obviously more sort of a Yamaha YM2612, I think it is, which is similar to what you'd get in like a keyboard or something like that. So it's much more synth based. So yeah, but I always found that the soundtracks of the Amiga were more rocking, whereas those on the SNES were more atmospheric. That's not to say that the Amiga games didn't have atmospheric music as well, because obviously they did. But right, let's try and see if we can do this. There we go. Yeah. Woohoo! You even had a Vectrex. Wow, you had some serious stuff there. That's awesome, Colin. Doug, I recommend the Magewell cards. They're good. They are good. Yeah, I've got the X100 USB something for the other. It's really good, really simple, plug and play. Love it. So there you go. There's Super Mario World. Let's just switch back to the main webcam. I'm going to take a little break for a moment just to get another drink and also just comfort break. So there we go. There is that's Super Mario World. I don't think there's any surprises there as to what that game was, is there? It's a game that I love. It's a game that I really enjoyed playing after, you know, coming from the Amiga and its many platformers. It was hours of entertainment, and it still holds up today. I think it's an absolute classic of gaming, and it deserves its place in the pantheon, or how you pronounce that word, Parthenon. Never know. This is the thing, I read words, I forget the words, I know what they mean, but I forget how to say them, so I would say I'm dyslexic, but I'm not, I'm just a bit. So, yeah, so it's a really good platformer. If you don't have a SNES Classic, the little miniature one, get one, great. You've got 21 classic games on there, I think they're awesome, and you get 2 controllers, so 2 players is possible. I'm looking forward to actually digging out my actual SNES from the loft. Unfortunately, I've only got one game for it, which is Super Mario World, because I sold all my cartridges a long time ago, so which is really sad. And the prices of picking up games like Secret of Mana these days, I'd love to, but I need to have more income to do that, and I can think of 1,000 things that I pay for before I start paying £75 or whatever it is for box copies of Final Fantasy 3 or whatever. And then you have to have an NTSC, Super Nintendo. It goes on. So get yourself a Super Nintendo Classic if you've not got one. They're really good. So I'm going to take a little comfort break. Our next system is, drumroll, it's going to be the Amiga, guys. It's going to be the Amiga. It's going to be Zool. So join us then. So I'll be back shortly. so I'm just going to put it in this because I don't actually have this put on WHD. Some Zool, and we're just gonna get the disc that way up to start with, and we're just gonna see how this fares in comparison. So, thanks for joining us, Ralph. You've not missed us. I was just literally taking a break, so I thought rather than leave all the video running, I would just cut back to the title screen. But as I get used to doing more of these, I will be working out how to, you know, sort of put an intermission feel up, I guess. So music level's a bit high. Okay, bear with. Okay, there shouldn't be any Mac audio, you know, audio from my Mac anymore. So sorry, I thought I'd shut those off, but obviously not. So still learning. Okay, right. Right, I've just got to put the code in because this is actually the original game. So, as you can see, this is virtually indecipherable to be able to actually do. So, yeah. Okay, bear with. So it's a green one. Oh, there we go. Ta-da. Well, actually, no, it's this one. For Windows 21. Okay, I think it's 87, but I might be wrong. Oh, hang on, I've got to type it actually in on the Amiga. Yeah, that's exactly why they used to make them like that. Error 42 is just so that you couldn't copy them. So yeah, you couldn't take it to your photocopiers, and yeah, bit of a pain, isn't it? Thanks, Phantom Amiga, that's very kind of you. So, yeah. Obviously, I'm still learning how to do this, so it's still a bit new to me, but I'm enjoying it, so. Right, let's make sure I can hear everything. I think we're good. Just need a joystick now. No, nobody pirated games anyway, did they? No, nobody would ever do that, so... Just got to put in disc 2, so... There we go. Hopefully the levels are okay now, guys, so do let me know and I'll adjust them. Phil Copley says, Zool, I think that might be the first game that I've ever got on day of release. My dad got it for us as a surprise. Well, that's cool. I must admit, I got this with my Amiga 600 when I bought it in 1993, and yeah, it was a game that came with the silica pack. I forgot to put the music on this, so immediately there's no music, but that's because I've not set it. So should I go back and do that? Just see. This will just be a bit quiet without music, so I'm just going to reboot it and start again. So levels are good. Oh, good. I'm sorry if I deafened you guys earlier on. I didn't mean to. So yeah, so nobody would have ever pirated an Amiga game because obviously floppy disks, they must have cost about £5,000 from Argos as it was. So. Yeah, that first level is rather sweet-toothed, isn't it, to say the least? So, let's just make sure I've got this right. The fact that I'm looking in the manual might tell you all you need to know about this. It even comes with like a cartoon. I forgot that was in the manual. Cartoon at the start of the manual, which is cool, so... Yeah, so it's a pretty awesome game to say the least. So, or at least it is on the Amiga, but I don't want to give too much away just yet. So, okay, right. Code for window 10 it is then. So, oh, and red with green. Window 10. Right, okay, cool. We're there. What's shaking? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. I'm all good. I just wanted to set the options to make sure that we actually had some music with this. Hopefully I'm not going to miss the option to enter the options screen. So yeah. Enter the Windows 10 code. Yeah, good one, Pixels. Space for options, that's the key. Let's go for rave. And we'll have a couple of continues because obviously we'll leave everything else the same. So yeah, exactly, this is it. These things were made with Deluxe Paint Fill, so yeah, so good. So it just goes to show you what you can do with these applications like Deluxe Paint and that. So they were the professional tools for many years. So let me just change discs. What it is if you bear me going shaky cam for a moment, is that I've now got my Amiga 600 connected up to a little CRT there, and it means that it's not actually on my main disk anymore. So yeah, a desk, sorry. So basically, every time I want to change something about it whilst I'm working at the main computer screen here, I'm having to obviously walk over to the Amiga 600 and change things a bit. So there we go. Right. Fire. Right, let's see if we can avoid eating cake whilst playing this level. Prepare yourself. I'm prepared, Zool. I'm prepared. Well, maybe. Right. Now, the thing that's different about Zool is it's a bit of a collectathon, so you've got to collect all these different bits and pieces, and if you thought I was bad at Super Mario World, you wait till I play Zool. I could do with that heart that he's just let go of, but I'll tell you where I'm going wrong, guys. I'm trying to play this through the... I'm doing this all wrong. Sorry. Right. I'm sorry, I was trying to play it through the capture window rather than actually directly from my scaler box. That's better. Things are now moving at the right rate again, so whilst I'm not brilliant at Zool, I'm not usually that bad. So yeah, this was a game that could run on OCS, ECS Amigas. In fact, it came out before the AGA Amigas came along, like the Amiga 1200 and the A4000. So yeah, for many, this was like the Amiga's Sonic. But for me, I always felt it never had the control that Sonic or Super Mario had. Although I love the music of this game, so which I always thought, oh, I could do the continue there. Fine. No need, no need. You can set the music style pixels. Yeah, it's quite cool actually. Oh, and I'm dead. I've set it to rave just purely for that pure 1992 vibe, so because hell, if I was old enough to be in the fields raving then, I would have been, so. This was the main mechanic that really bugged me about Zool, I'll be honest, is the whole sort of jump and then grab onto a wall, but then you have to sort of kind of jump away and jump back towards it to you know, sort of move onwards, as it were. So, but one of the things that is nice is it does move extremely well, and it's not often that you get any slowdown. So it definitely moves fine. It just looks, I don't know. I think when we compare it to our next game, which is of course Sonic, it just, for me, lacks something. And, you know, I don't want to obviously sound negative because that's not what I'm here to do, but yeah. Oh no, I think I've just messed that up. That's a shame. Oh, and now I have, but never mind. But yeah, it's an okay game, I would say. I certainly had a lot of enjoyment playing it, but for me, on the Amiga, I preferred games like Robocop 2 and Turrican. Those were much more my sort of cup of tea on the Amiga, if I'm honest. So but it does move well, there's no doubt about it. You know, it's quite a good feat. One of the things with sort of changing the soundtrack at the start of the game is that it kind of gives, you know, highlights the fact that the Amiga has 4 channels of sampled audio, which is brilliant. It's got a very distinctive sound, very of its time. But it does mean that sometimes you had games which either just went for sound effects or just music, and this is one of them, sadly. I think the other thing is that for many years I've now got used to playing with joypads, so this whole playing with a joystick is quite it's quite a difference. I should have just swiped that continue, otherwise I would have just continued there, but I didn't. So, oh, yeah. Does it suffer slowdowns, Lobsterminator? That's interesting. It does have slowdown from time to time, but my Amiga 600 is just stock. Apart from the RAM, it's 2 mega chip RAM, 2 mega fast RAM via the PCMCIA. I'm gonna die in a minute. Yep. If you don't like this, don't play Bubsy. I've played Bubsy. When would I have played Bubsy? It would probably been about 1995, maybe. And I've not played it since. So let's say no more. I think what it is that this plays very differently to something like Super Mario, where it feels like there's a slight degree of intellect required in deciding how to sort of attack the enemies and when to sort of go for something, whereas this just feels a bit like, obviously it's not Doom, but with Doom, if you've got a big enough weapon, you just keep on ramming that control key or whatever you're playing on to, you know, it just feels a bit like you could get away with just spamming the fire button and just going for it. Doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it, but so I think the problem is that it didn't have the vertical. Yeah, exactly. So it's very linear. That's a really good point, Phil. So yeah, good point made. It doesn't have that exploration that certainly Super Mario World and obviously Sonic has as well. It's just get to the end. There's the odd little diversion. It's not like Turrican where there's all sorts of different paths. It's yeah. You never forget your first joystick. Well, you won't be forgetting this squeaky one, that's for sure. So I'm still squeaking. Yeah, I do have the tendency to squeak, so. Okay. So, yeah, it's very colourful, and they make good use of the OCS Amiga's colour palette and everything, but that is one of the inherent limitations of the Amiga, is that certainly in the OCS chipset anyway, or ECS chipsets, you have dual playfields, but you can only have 8 colours per playfield. which does present some design challenges, there's no doubt about it. Because the other, that was good. The other 16 colours, so you got your first playfield, then your second playfield, so that's your first 16 colours. And then you've got your next 16 colours, which are reserved for the sprites. So you don't have the ability to make use of those latter 16 colours, I believe. Somebody might want to correct me, but in dual playfield mode, that isn't a possibility. Which means that you end up with these copper rainbows, which is what Zool's got here. Which is quite a hallmark of the Amiga games, because the Amiga could dynamically change the colour of those. Oh. Like on a scanline interrupts, or as the beam went down the screen, so it allowed for dynamic palette changes. So yeah, which is a very clever technique, but because Zool is using sort of presumably a 32 colour screen, it means that oh, I'm gonna die in a minute again. Oh, and there we go. Yes, let's continue. So yes, it means that you basically don't have, unless you draw in as part of the tile map, which I don't think Zool has done. Something in those other 32 colours, there is no background layer as such. Oh dear, that wasn't good at all, was it? So, that's interesting. Exterminator, maybe it's one of those combos. Unfortunately, I don't have either of those things, and I've not yet put this onto my compact. Oh, I've done it again, Vicky. It's typical Euro platform affair, isn't it? As soon as you get moving, you're going to get killed by some killer raindrops, or you're going to get done in by some spikes, or yeah. Don't get too much momentum, otherwise you'll get done in. So it's very very precise gaming. So I think you can probably tell that for me, Zool is not my favourite. It's certainly not something that I choose to play over Super Mario World personally, I'm afraid to say. I wish that I had something different to say for you Amiga fans that are out there. Oh. Just that bounce back is so difficult, so... Killed by a worried looking jelly, yeah. The only killer to look slightly pensive about what they're about to do. Well, I don't know. I don't know many killers, so maybe there are lots of killers that feel pensive about what they're about to do. Come on, Zool. Get up there. And it's happened again. Come on. I just cannot get that last bit. I can see that Simone's posted a... oh, I could do with that heart, and I didn't get it. I think the other thing is that I never really feel that I have control over this game. It just feels all a bit too, I don't know, loose. Like with Super Mario World, or as you're about to find out, and of course with Sonic at some point this evening, it just feels like I'm jumping around almost at random, and I just don't think the level design is particularly great. So, oh. Universe. I've heard about that, Phil, actually. That was from Core Design, wasn't it? Move. There we go. That was a latter day Amiga game, wasn't it? It used ham, or used the copper to change the palette as. So yeah, I'm aware of it, but I've not ever played it. I've got a Amiga format demo disc here with it on, so maybe I'll give that a go someday. So yeah, that's so true. Actually, Pixels at Dawn. Yeah, careful now, platformers. I think that's just a hallmark of European platformers. They're just they just don't invite exploration. But that said, oh, that was awful. One of my favourite 2D platformers, even though I'm not very... Well, actually, I'm not too bad at it, but it's still hard as nails, is Rayman on the PS1, which is available for many different platforms. But yeah, that's got the same kind of thing, you know, as pixel perfect platforming. But Zool just... I don't know, it's just... yeah. You just about get going and then something else kills you, and the controls just feel a bit, I don't know, imprecise, that you don't really have control over it. And I'm using a zip stick, which is a good stick, so whilst I know that Zool in the press was positioned as the Amiga's answer to Sonic, it really isn't. I want it to be, but it isn't, so... We're almost dead. Yes. But yeah, lots of careful now platformers. I like that description, Pixels. That's a good one. Oh, come on, up you go. And this bit here where you just have to do this awful jumping mechanic, it just, oh, it sucks. It's very stop and start, isn't it, Error 42? I mean, to be fair, I'm not the best person you're ever going to see playing Zool, so there'll be somebody out there who is really good at this game and will be just literally thinking, you're ruining this. But I know that I'm not alone, because I remember when I was younger, lots of myself and my friends, we all had the same problem. And back then, not all of us had zip sticks or, oh god, competition pros. So yeah, Zool 2 was meant to be a lot better, wasn't it, Phil? I can't remember honestly if I've played that though. I'm just getting massacred on this one bit of the level, aren't I? Sorry. Come on. There you go, Zool. I've got no energy left, but there we are. Oh, jelly. Into the spikes. So I think the thing was is that everybody at the time really wanted a good sort of like Sonic beater on the Amiga, and there was a bit of a glut of these fast-paced platformers that just sadly weren't very good. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the gaming press at the time just mistook the speed at which Zool ran for a good game. I mean, like, it got 94% in Amiga format, I think. Amiga Power looked upon it favourably. I just don't know what it is. It just doesn't work for me. And all of you should know that I absolutely love my Amigas. But if somebody said to me, right, what will it be? You can play one game for the rest of your life in your Amiga. It's either Zool or Rainbow Islands. Well, I would already be playing Rainbow Islands. You wouldn't need to ask me that question anymore. I must admit, I do feel that I'm getting slightly better at the control as I play, but not much. I just don't think the joystick is the most natural of things for this speed of platforming either. I think this is something where a joypad does work better. Oh, there we go. Fix that straight away. Oh. So yeah, it's a tough game. Every now and then I do fire it up, you know, thinking that maybe I just didn't have it that last time I fired it up. But last night I got to the end of stage or World 3 on Super Mario, on Rainbow Islands. I hadn't lost a life. I had a high score of about 85,000. So I know that I'm not a bad games player, so I just don't get on with Zool like so many other people, sadly. I'm just going to play this to the end of the continues that I've set because I don't think there's much fun in watching. In fact, that may have been it, so yep. Please enter your name. Do I have to? And after all of that, you have to insert the discs. I mean, that's obviously one thing to definitely consider, because at the time you had, you know, the consoles like the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo, the NES, the Master System, and all the rest that you just plug the game in and they work. So, yeah, with a gamepad, I think it would be easier, Simone. I feel bad that I'm already giving up on Zool, but I just feel that we should probably press on to something else. So it's not going to be much fun just watching me going, oh, this is really hard. So yeah, it's an interesting game, one that I will certainly fire up again, and I will try with a joypad actually. Simone, because I have a PlayStation controller to Amiga adapter, so I can use my PS2 controller with the Amiga, but unfortunately with my Amiga 600 I don't have a little extender that will mean the cable can go in, so but we'll try that one day, so there's loads of time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, Amiga fans, Zool just isn't that great. So it's time for this bad boy. It's Sonic time. So let's just switch things over and just bear with me a moment. That's the thing with these SCART connectors, they were never that easy to, there we go. Right, okay, let's just check this. So the last game we're going to be looking at is Sonic, obviously on the Mega Drive. And at the end of this, we're going to talk about which is my favourite. So, and maybe let's have a little chat about what your favourites are. So maybe you want to throw those into the chat. Maybe some of your memories of the Mega Drive, Sonic. Obviously, this is the first game. So, yeah, so it's all good. Once again, thanks for joining us again tonight. I hope it's been enjoyable. So, I'm just going to adjust something actually about my view, because whilst I think the stream is okay, I'm going to end up playing this through widescreen, which I don't want to do. There we go. I think we're good. Should remember drawing Zool once. That's cute. I never found Zool as a character as likeable as Sonic or Mario either, to be honest with you. It was just one of those things where I don't know, just didn't really gel with me for some reason. So let's get this party on the road. I plan on going on till about 10 o'clock, guys, so do throw your thoughts into the chat. So, and we're going to be announcing my favourites at the end of the stream. So yeah, Sonic is just one of those classic games. Obviously, I'm playing the PAL version. So for those of you used to the NTSC version, this is going to feel a bit slow, I'll be honest. But there you go. Ooh. But yeah, much more interesting backgrounds I find on Sonic. It was always these trees that I was most impressed by when I first played this game, because they just look so cool. They look 3D. And that deep blue sky just looked awesome. So yeah. Oh, don't lose my rings. So nobody ever. So yeah, it was a bit of a toss-up when I bought the Super Nintendo whether I should go for obviously the Super Nintendo or the Mega Drive, just because obviously, you know, I love the Sonic games. Of course, obviously by the time I bought my Super Nintendo, Sonic 2 had been out, and you know, that was a superb game as well, but I just wanted to keep this to the original because I wanted to kind of compare the same era of games. You know, sort of like what Zool and the likes were all up against at the same time, and Super Mario Brothers. That was why I didn't put Sonic 2 into this, although I really wanted to play Sonic 2 this evening. But the thing is that, like Super Mario World, Sonic invites you to explore. You know, it allows you to discover new things. It feels like, even though Sonic moves quickly, you retain a degree of control. Whereas with Zool, it just feels like you're just throwing yourself about at great rates of knots. So, yeah, and it is like Pixels at Dawn said, it feels like you're gonna you know, like your oh, be careful now, or whatever the saying is from Father Ted. Careful there, kind of thing. So, thanks for joining us, Phil. I hope you've enjoyed. Hope the washing up's done. I think it was you who said you were doing the washing up, so but it's great to have you here. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're around on Sunday, I'm doing another pixel art stream at 6 PM British Summer Time. But have a great weekend. So. Hi Graham, how are you doing? So, I'm trying to play and read chat at the same time, not always the easiest of things. But yeah, Zool is a bit crap, isn't it? I don't like to say it because obviously I love my Amigas, but it's from that era of Amiga gaming where the consoles really came to preeminence. And yeah, as much as I want to say the Amiga rocks and the Amiga rules, if I'm not careful, I'll run out of time, please. This was just better. It just is. But yes, this totally invites exploration, even though I messed that bit up, but it doesn't matter. And the thing is, you can actually obviously tech, but that's the whole thing with Sonic. You can. Oops, that was close. Jeez. I mean, yes, you can tear through this as fast as you like, but you don't have to. You know, it's not obligatory, so. Right, at the end, I think, so. There we go. So, yes, it's all with a hedgehog, Paul, you're right, so. Yeah, well, I'm going to reveal my favourite at the end, Graham. I shan't be revealing my hand right away, but yeah. But needless to say, I'm enjoying this a lot more than I was Zool. You know, obviously, there are other Amiga games that I enjoy more than Sonic or Super Mario, possibly. But yeah. Zool won't be one of them. Zool is just Zool, being diplomatic. But I do really enjoy Sonic. Well, the first 3 games I really enjoy. I can't comment on his latest forays, which are mostly rubbish. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Wolf at Dawn. Larvatron session, that sounds fun, so. Yeah, Westbound Wizards. Sonic uses Sega game theme, yeah, Sonic game theme. Yeah, you're right there. What's Terminator? Oops. Sorry, reading the chat, I'm not playing. But I enjoy this far, far more than Zool. It is just a much, much better game. It doesn't mean to say that I don't think the Amiga is capable of doing a game as enjoyable as this. Far from it. I mean, graphics-wise, it might, like the ECS and OCS Amigas might have their work cut out, I think, to be honest with you. Bearing in mind, oops, those limitations that I mentioned earlier on. But overall, don't want to get the fast shoes that are over there. I want to get a few more rings just in case, so. But yeah, oh dear, whoopsie. Sorry, I was reading the chat and not looking at what I was doing. Yeah, being a bit more zoomed out does make a huge difference with Sonic, doesn't it? So, as far as I'm aware, there isn't a vast amount of difference between the Amiga's low resolution screen size to the Mega Drive. It's the Mega Drive 320 by 240, but the PAL low res on the Amiga is 320 by 256. Am I right there? Graham would know that, I think. So I might be wrong. obviously I'm doing all of the, well, not all of the extras, but some of the secret bits, so... Super Frog. Now, I did think about putting Super Frog against this instead, but I'll be honest, I don't have the original of Super Frog anymore. Now, can I think I can jump down there, can't I? No, I can't, not on this stage. I know there's one stage where you jump off the edge there and you get some more stuff. I also have another little confession. I know lots of people really love Super Frog, and I know that there are an even, well, not even smaller, but there is another small amount of people who really like Zool. To each their own, as they say. But for me, I also found Super Frog really boring. I know, sacrilege. Amiga fan says Zool sucks and Super Frog was boring, but I did. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I just found the level design really bland. I think the gameplay in Super Frog is better than the likes of Zool, far better. So I would choose Super Frog any day over Zool. No doubt about it. So, oh, it's slow. But yeah. Graham says that Super Frog is bloody terrible. Yeah, I'm obviously more diplomatic in my assessments, I guess, but yeah, I just don't know what it is about Super Frog. It just, I think by that time I'd obviously played Super Mario Brothers on my cousin's SNES, and I just couldn't get on with it. I thought it was okay, but I didn't buy it when it was a full price release. So I probably only bought it when it came out one of those smaller boxes that Team 17 used to do, the little sort of flat pack ones, like the old what were they called? What was Ocean's budget label called again? Not high tech, but you know the one. I think you'd be under the H. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I want to say High Soft, but they were the guys who made the Squirrel, weren't they? What was the name of that company? Guys in the chat, what was the name of Ocean's budget label? I can't think of it. Pixels at Dawn's. Oh, we've got quite a lot of chat that I'm missing on, so bear with me, guys. I'm going to complete this stage and I'm going to catch up with the chat. That's a good sign, because like in Zool, you could probably tell that I was just like reading the chat the whole time because I wasn't really enjoying it that much, to be honest with you. Whereas with Sonic, I'm getting drawn into the game. I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah. So yes, I loved Sonic 2, which obviously came out on Sonic Tuesday. Quite a big event. Almost in the gaming world, so let's just pause. Oh, Graham, thanks for confirming. So, the A1200 would be able to do this. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right, because obviously it's got the O20, so it's got a bit more horsepower, but also because it's got 16 colours per dual playfield. Plus, you don't have the limitation of having to put the sprite colours in the last 16 of the 32 colour registers, so that makes a big difference. Plus, also, you've got bigger sprites if you want to use the sprites. So, best Amiga platform is Robocod 2. Well, I agree, Graham. If you're going to go for like platformers, absolutely agree. Last week we played a bit of Robocod. We're going to play some more of that soon. Not tonight, but we're going to play some more of that in another stream. But yeah, it is the best. The next one's like, it's not. I don't treat it quite like a platformer, but it's Rainbow Islands. It's more of an arcade game, though, say, because it is an arcade version. CD32 did sound like Sonic. Absolutely agree, Paul. It really did. It came bundled with Oscars, didn't it? Which was terrible. Looked great, but absolute rubbish. Music is awesome. Yeah, quite like the music. So, but yeah, Robocod 2, as Paul says as well, was the pinnacle of platform Amiga. Totally agree. Robocod, James Bond 3 on Amiga was a bit of a disappointment compared to the Mega Drive. Just the backgrounds looked a bit bland. It might have been a great hit squad. That's when I was thinking of Pixels at Dawn. Thank you. So Aladdin was also another great platform on the Amiga, but it was also awesome on the Mega Drive, which is what I own it on. So, and actually, you watch out for a future stream because I'm going to be comparing Amiga Aladdin to Mega Drive Aladdin. So, which will be fun because I do like Aladdin on the Amiga 1200 actually, or the Amiga 4000, or Vampires these days. I do like it on those systems, but if I'm going to play it, whoops. I'll be honest, I'm going to dig the Mega Drive out, so in a real Mega Drive, as you can see. So I know it's a Mega Drive 2, and of course the purists out there will say it's not a Mega Drive 1 with its better sound, and I agree with you, but this is what I've got, and to be honest with you, I still enjoy playing it. If it's original hardware, I'm enjoying it. I'll be honest. Oops. I think we can get down here yet. So, but this is the thing with Sonic. It invites you to explore. There are a few death drops where you don't know where you're going. Don't want to go back that far. Yeah, it's just a much more enjoyable game. Dave, thank you for joining us this evening. Nice to see you. So, yeah, we're playing a bit of Sega. It says Amiga wins. I'm afraid this is one of those instances, where it doesn't. We're about to find out the winner. Oh, whoops. You can see I've not played this for a while, actually. But yeah, I thought... come over here, you can do this. Why are you finding this difficult? Just stop doing it. Right, I'm obviously pushing the A button when I don't need to, so... I've been playing too many Amiga games with the fire button. Whoops. Back we go. Come on, Sonic, get on with it. Mario all day. We're about to find out. This is like crap. Well, actually, this is like good X Factor because X Factor is crap. But this is like crap reality telly. You know, we should have a drum beat. And the winner of this week's Who Will Be Obscure in a Year's Time contest is gonna be... And then just this long pause with this heartbeat drumming in the background as we all look forward to who is going to be forgotten in a year's time. Oh, rats. I didn't want to do that. Never mind. Doesn't matter though, does it? So... I always like these things. That was quite cool. So... I love Zool. There's no point trying to hide it. Yeah, you're absolutely... Oops. Sorry, I was reading the message. You're absolutely right. Error 42. Me and Zool are actually due to marry at a civil ceremony tomorrow. Please do join us. It'll be at the registry office. Come on, Vicky. Get a grip. So... It does sound weird to me as well, actually, Pixels, the music. So... because actually I've got the Sega Mega Drive collection. Oh, come on, Sonic, get on! I've got the Sega Mega Drive collection, or classics, whatever it's called, on the PlayStation 2, which is all the sort of NTSC versions of like Golden Axe. I'm going to lose all of these. Oh, that was... Usually I lose all of my rings at that point. Yeah, usually I play it on there, to be honest with you, because it's a small community, because I have the PlayStation 2 set up all the time. and I just play Sonic on that mostly. Which of course obviously is 60 hertz, and that was the first thing that struck me when we first started playing this. Yeah, it was. It sort of made me feel a bit like, is this in slow motion? There's a really good video with Nostalgia Nerd actually, where he goes through sort of like the difference between sort of Sonic on NTSC versus oh, easy Tiger. Whoops. See, Zool allows you to explore so well, you know. I used to have Zool running on CD32 Retro Revolvers. Well, yeah, obviously, you know, you can play Zool on the CD32, and it's got the extra special CD32 feature of having CD audio, I believe. You know, 16 extra bits give you CD audio. Sorry, I don't want to hate on the CD32, but whilst I know it's actually quite a good Amiga these days to have to play like all Amiga games on, if you get one of those like 8 meg RAM cards or something like that. I'm only commenting on from the point of view as a console as it was. It could have done really good things, but the problem was is that Commodore obviously went bankrupt, and by the time you started getting games like Flink, which, okay, Flink was not brilliant, but it was a damn sight better than most of the stuff that came out for the CD32. You know, you could see, oh god, you know, it did have at least a semblance of being competitive, I guess, but so was the Amiga 1200, which was a really good seller here in the UK and in Germany, so yeah, I might have split the audience a bit too much, maybe the CD32, but it... Anyway, so, c'est la vie. Oh, you little slime bag. So yeah, but then of course obviously the PlayStation came out at the end of '94 in Japan, and I owned some of its first releases, which obviously got Ridge Racer and Parodius, which were just bloody fantastic. You know, they're obviously Ridge Racer's not 2D, so let's get this right. But obviously Parodius is, and you know, the PlayStation was just a juggernaut. So not doing that very well, am I? Just concentrate on... yeah, there we go. So yeah, you didn't get a Mega Drive until 2003 Pixels, yeah. Well, to be fair, I didn't buy a Mega Drive, you know, sort of back in the 90s. I was probably quite... I used to play on my friend's Mega Drive, but I had a SNES, as I say, back in the day, so... So that's the Green Hill stage cleared. Let's just check the time. Wow, it's almost 10 o'clock. What will it be? What will be my favourite? Let's just do a stage of Marble Zone and we'll go there. I will admit that I do have a real soft spot for the Mega Drive's graphics. It's something about its, compared to the Amiga, relatively limited colour palette that has these very contrasty, bright colours, very saturated colours, that as a pixel artist I notice. I prefer the subtlety of the Amiga's graphics. In a way, it reminds me of Atari ST graphics, because I think the Mega Drive shares a similar sort of palette setup to the ST, as far as that I think it's 512 colours, maybe 3 bits per RGB channel perhaps. I'm not too clear on that, but it reminds me a bit of that, also those early Amiga ports from ST, you know, very saturated colour, or you know, because they hadn't optimized it for the Amiga's expanded color palette. So it does remind me of that, but there is a great nostalgia to this color level. So yeah, the SNES is my all-time favorite console. I think, Graham, it wavers a little bit between that and the PlayStation, purely because there are just so many great JRPGs on the PAL region PlayStation, whereas obviously when it comes, oh, I knew that was going to happen, I still did it. Whereas on the SNES you really have to have like a, I don't, is it called an EverDrive on the Super Nintendo as well? But yeah, most JRPGs sadly on the SNES were Japan only or North American NTSC UC, so obviously we didn't get Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 2, or we got Secret of Mana, but that was it really. So obviously these days I've managed to play those games on the SNES through various means, and as I said at the start of the stream, I'm hoping actually to do a Chrono Trigger playthrough on the SNES, because that is probably my all-time favourite SNES game, so, and possibly also my all-time favourite JRPG. It wavers between that and Grandia on the PlayStation. Yeah. So yeah, so shall we go back to the Mac? So that's Sonic. You all know it, you all love it, or don't love it, I don't know. So yeah, let's just transition this. There we go, hopefully that's so what is my, well, let's just review the chat to make sure I haven't missed any of your chat, because it's always good to catch up with everybody. So music loud again. Okay, sorry. I think what it is that this soundtrack has been overly compressed. I noticed it when I was making my video the other day. Sorry guys, don't mean to deafen any of you. Yeah, so it's got that typical problem with music production these days, but everything has been greatly overcompressed to make sure that it at least comes out of people's smartphones at a reasonable volume, which is totally the wrong thing to do. But, you know, that's people walking around with their crap, you know, sort of tinny sort of speakers in their phones, expecting the music to sound good. But anyway, there you are. So I don't mean to deafen you, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can hear me okay now. So oh, you have an original Mega Drive too as well, Pixels of Dawn. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. So yeah, the Mega Drive is massively popular in Brazil, isn't it, Simone? So yeah, definitely. So Super Magic Card, yeah, I remember those. we was pretty impressed with the CD32, but God never knew how to market games. I don't think they did. I think maybe if the CD32 had gone on to greater things, they might have got a bit more experience with it, but primarily Commodore wasn't a games company, they were a computer company. Yeah, these were new skills that are learning. They did some fairly good stuff with the CD32 while it lasted in the UK, but it wasn't to be, was it? So it's, for us Amiga fans, it's sad that the Amiga obviously bit the dodo, as it were, or bit the dust rather, when Commodore went down. I know obviously it was revived shortly under ESCOM, but the Amiga was pretty much at the end of its life, sadly, by that point, really. So commercially anyway. So yeah, you're already half deaf, Pixels at Dawn. So, well, we're halfway to being completely deaf. So so what's my favourite? Well, I think we can rule out Zool. I think that should be fairly self-evident to anybody who has been following along with this stream. I can take my headphones off now, actually. So yeah, Zool is not it. I really do not like it at all, I'll be honest. I'd much rather spend my evenings playing Turrican 2 or Rainbow Islands, or indeed, obviously, Super Mario World or Sonic. So which out of the two would I prefer to play out of Sonic or Super Mario World? Well, I like both for different reasons. I like Sonic because it's very pick up and play. It's a little bit more fluid. It's you can sort of rush into it. You can have a bit of fun with it. It's bright. It's vibrant. It's colourful. I love the Mega Drive's music or sound. It's a great game. I love Sonic, the original Sonic. I love the first 3 Sonic games in total. They're all good, and we're all going to feature them on future streams in their own rights. But I wanted to compare contemporaries almost. Like in 1992, early 93, you picked up your Argos catalogue or your Index catalogue, and you had the Super Nintendo, you had the Mega Drive, and you had the Amiga. Which one did you go for? Which one would you go for? So you had obviously the games. Zool was the Amiga's flagship platformer. You had Super Mario World, obviously a packing title on the Super Nintendo, and you obviously had Sonic on the Mega Drive. And yeah, so that's why I wanted to compare these ones, because obviously Sonic 2 came a little bit later in that period that I was concentrating on. So yeah, still going, late night reviews, still going. We're summing up. We're about to wrap it up and reveal what my favourite is. So Super Mario World is a little bit more, I'm not saying it's intellectual, but you have to think about it a bit more. You can't just pile in there, fly around and grab all the bonuses and just smash through the levels, because if you do that, you're going to career into carefully set up platforms which will jump you into an enemy that you've not yet wiped out. You know, it's yeah, it's a little bit more thought has to go into it, and of course, obviously, you get those ghost level stages which send you around in loops if you don't quite pick up the nuance, which James Pond 2 RoboCod on Amiga picked up slightly on in some of its stages. But yeah, there's a little bit more intellect going on there, and a little bit more nuance in its level design. Both of them allow you to explore the stages. Sorry, I just read Lost Terminator's comment. It's brilliant. And the winner is Manic Miner. If you've just very briefly check out the Amigos podcast, they're probably on actually at the moment. Aaron and Bo, I'm packing this in shortly because I want to watch you guys. Yeah, if you want to watch a good summation of Manic Miner, pick up the Amigos podcast. It's R. Sinclair that they've started doing. They have a great summary of Manic Miner last week, which from an American perspective is so interesting to hear. But basically, what is my winner? It's Super Mario World. It is Super Mario World. It's only by, well, maybe not a hair width, but maybe half an inch, shall we say. I mean, if I was to, so those of you who used to watch the Day to Day, which is perhaps none of you, but remember that spoof news night with Chris Morrison and Steve Coogan and what was her name, Drew McKinnon and Rebecca Front and all those guys. there was that bit where there was like speak your brains, you know, and to what extent would you like the law toughened up to the average post office band? And so I'm going to say that Super Mario is here, and then half an inch above that is Sonic. And then where would I put Zool on that scale? Well, let me just go across the room. I'm tangled, guys. So Zool is all the way over here. Can you see me? This is where Zool is. Zool is over here. It's not good. It's not good. So, yeah, that's what Zool is to me, I'm afraid. I love the Amiga, but I don't love Zool. Sorry. So get yourself a Super Nintendo Classic if you don't have a SNES and you want to play some classic Super Nintendo games. It's fantastic. It's got Final Fantasy 3 or 6 as we know it these days. You've got Secret of Mana on there. You've got Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. You've got Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, Super Mario Kart. Oh my god, Super Mario Kart, amazing. So that's my favourite, guys. And yeah, so there we go. Yeah, Super Mario World is a little bit slower paced. So yeah, it's a different game for a different frame of mind. So I feel the same as what you guys are saying. So Pixel Dawn says that Sonic is faster paced, and perhaps that's why Pixels prefers it. And I enjoy that pace of Sonic. You know, it's a different. They're both platformers, but they've got different nuances, as I'd say. They just tickle different sort of things that I enjoy, yeah, so that's a really good point. So yeah, Sonic is tapping his foot at my decision, and time, I can't actually read it this small, but it's probably yeah, but yeah, Super Mario World, I'm afraid that one just about pipped Sonic to the post. But as you've probably seen, I don't have much luck for Zool. Sorry, Amiga fans. It's the one time, well, actually, it's one of many times where unfortunately I'm going to choose the Super Nintendo over the Amiga, or indeed the Mega Drive over the Amiga, actually. Yes, I have a lot of love for Amiga games, a lot of love for the Amiga, but this time, Super Nintendo takes it. So, well done, Sonic. Legend. So so there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's stream. I've really enjoyed playing these games with you, and yeah, it's been really fun. I'm just wondering if I've still got Super Mario there. No, he's been switched off, so no victory lap for Mario there. So yeah. Hey there, Dasley. Glad you could join us. I'm just about to finish, actually, so sorry you missed it. I won't spoil what the result was. I was just summing up what my favourite was between Super Mario World, Zool or Sonic, all in their respective systems, the Amiga, the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive. But I hope you're well. I do have another stream, guys, on Sunday evening, which I believe is at 6 PM British Summer Time, which is 5 PM UTC. And that will be a pixel art stream, so a little bit of a slower pace. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this evening. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been really good fun to spend some time with you. And yeah, I just hope you have a great rest of your Friday evening. And I guess I will catch up with you soon. So yeah, it's been really fun. So ciao for now. Maybe see you in Migos podcast chat. So I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this beer because I'm absolutely parched. As you can probably tell in my voice, it's totally threadbare. James Pond. I love James Pond. A lot of love for the James Pond. We're going to do a James Pond only stream soon, guys, because the James Pond, he needs some love. So in fact, actually, I've got James Pond for the Robocod for the Super Nintendo, and it's actually quite good on the Super Nintendo, but I prefer to play it on the Amiga. So yes, thank you for your lovely comments. It's really just nice to spend the evening with you all, and see some of you on Sunday. See some of you later on the Amigos podcast chat. Otherwise, ciao for now. Bye.